Who wants to go first, me or you?
Rock, paper, scissors.
All right, let's go. Let's do it again. Means I win. Who's that moves? That means goes first. Whatever. Hello, everyone. We just wanted to do an introduction video of ourselves. We realized we'd done some other videos, but we haven't actually introduced ourselves. I believe anybody's actually even seen our faces. Nope. So we figured it's a new year, 2021. It's time to introduce ourselves. So I'm Danny, and this is Amy, and we are Homestead DNA. So we just wanted to kind of give you guys a quick introduction about ourselves, just some history, and then also what we want to do here on the homestead.
So just to let you know a little bit about who we are and where we're coming from, we have been married about 2 years now, a little over 2 years together for a total of about 8. When we first got together, about 5 months after we got together, we bought a house. We were ready to dive in, but it was a house in an HOA, and we didn't realize that we had such an issue with it when we first got there. So it's the kind of HOA that will send you letters if your grass is too tall, or if there's a car, perfectly fine running car that moves every day, is parked in front of your
Oh, the grass
house.
was my fault.
Yeah, well,
that was probably legitimate.
You were just growing hay.
Right. Yeah, it was a crop.
But we were frustrated there because it just seemed like anything that we wanted to do, there were lots of restrictions on it. One of the biggest things that we had issues with was being able to grow a garden. The way our house was situated, a lot of the area that we had to grow was in the backyard, and all of that is shaded. So we had no room to grow anything good. So we had to make illegal garden beds on the side of our yard.
Yeah, so HOA didn't stop us from doing anything.
We still did it.
Didn't really like that we did, but...
And that's the only way we've been able to grow anything there, is just to be able to try and put things on the side of the yard to be able to get any kind of growth, so...
Yeah, but it was also a pretty crazy garden, too, because we're growing okra, 6-7 foot tall okra. My pepper plants last year got to 6 feet tall.
Beans, squash, zucchini.
Yeah, we'll have to post a video. I think we have some footage of what we had out there, just kind of in our side yard. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, so we just kept longing for more land. I think you especially were.
Yeah, I'm originally from Alabama, and kind of grew up somewhat in the country, even though most of it we lived in the city, but we always had land in the country, which we enjoyed going up to and spending time. So I kind of always wanted to get back to that. I didn't think I was going to do it just yet, but there's no time like the present. And we have been looking at land for a little while, a couple of years, I guess, just to kind of see if maybe there's something out there for us. So we had talked, and we had decided that, okay, now's not the time last year when we were first looking, and realized that we weren't really finding anything that we wanted. And so he said, fine, we're just going to stay where we are for another 3 years, and then we'll look again. We were going to sell the house and start from there. Well, the next day, a buddy of mine showed me this property. And Friday, I went to see it.
By yourself.
By myself.
Because I was not committed.
She was not committed. I went to see it, and I saw that it had a lot of potential. And when I first went to the road, I realized it reminded me of home a lot, just the driveway. And then when I came around and saw the view, I knew it was a good place. But, obviously Amy's got to be involved, so I can't make the decision right there. So we went back and I said, look, it's something that you need to come and look at. So I think it was Sunday.
It was the very next day.
It was Saturday.
Came up, yeah.
Okay. So Thursday... I find out about it. Friday, I come and look at it. Saturday, she comes and looks at it. And then I believe the next weekend, or was it even that?
It was that same day.
Okay. Then that same day, we put an offer on the property.
The realtor showed us around, and you guys have probably already seen the videos, or if you haven't, you can go back and look at them. It showed us around. Everything is a mess. There is someone that hadn't been able to take care of his house here, living here for a long time. So everything needs to be replaced or updated or painted or scrubbed, all of that. So the realtor, talking woman to woman, she was like, oh, this could be pretty like this, or we could do this and clean this up, or all you need is a coat of paint on there. But I'm not too stressed out about that. It's more about the big picture. Is this house livable? Is it going to fall down around us? Or, is it just kind of messy and it needs some TLC? So we got back in the car to say goodbye from the realtor. And I was like, well, what are we doing? If we're going to do it, just do it. So I got out of the car, waved down the realtor who was already in her car, and said, you know what? Let's just put an offer on it.
Yep.
Why not? Let's just do it.
We did.
That's the way we do a lot of things. We overthink things until we need to make a big decision, and then we just do it real quick.
Do it fast.
So.
Just like when we bought the first house, 5 months.
Yeah,
we weren't planning on buying the house. It was the only house we looked at.
This was the only country house that we actually went to and looked at.
Right. So things just work out sometimes when they're supposed to, and even if there are issues, the biggest deal is that you just work through those issues. You make a place home as long as you find something that's within what you're looking for, and there's some feeling you have on it. You kind of we've always been what you want when you see it, and we knew we wanted it, so we made an offer. They accepted the offer. There were some issues after that, but nothing major. And then 3 months later, I think it was,
we were able to close.
We were closed. So.
Yeah, it feels like it's been forever, but we've only been here 3 months. We've already moved a lot of stuff in, and we've made a lot of plans. And that's kind of why we wanted to make this YouTube video, because we wanted to be able to document it for ourselves, to go back and look and see what we've done, kind of like our own little vlog, diary, journal, but also to show other people what can be done if you have a little inspiration and passion, and just wanted to show what we're doing.
We aren't experts at any of this. We've never bought a fixer-upper. We've never done it. We believe that we can. It is not necessarily a fun thing to do, but it is, I think, rewarding if you can accomplish it. It's one of the toughest things that we've really jumped into, but it just takes your time. I mean, that's the key for what we're doing, is just taking your time. You're going to make mistakes, learn from those mistakes. The more that you do it, the more frustrating it becomes, the more experienced you become, and the better you are in the end anyway. So got a lot of work to do in this house, but I think the most exciting part for us isn't even the house, or at least for me, I should say, it's the land. So for those who don't know, it's 62 acres property. About 55 of that is wooded area, and then there's another 7 or so cleared acres that we are going to take an acre, and some of that acre we're going to build a garden in it, which we're really excited about. Previously this was a hay field, so there's still a guy that is a neighbor who uses it for hay, and we let him continue that this year, and probably for the larger field we'll let him do that next year. So he just comes and fertilizes it. We just let him keep the hay, so he basically maintains the field himself. So we don't really have anything we're doing with it just yet, but so we'll keep that relationship going until we decide to do something else with the land. Another thing that we're looking at when we come out here, so we've lived not in a city but around a city. What we liked about our other house was that you had to drive past cows to get to it.
We felt like we're in the country.
We felt like we were in the country out there a little bit, but inevitably the city starts expanding out. They start building around you, and it starts to feel less like you being out somewhere remote. Even though we were in a neighborhood, a just standard subdivision, and it was nice. I mean, it wasn't a bad neighborhood. I mean, I really like it. I could live there too. We just didn't have enough land for us to do what we wanted to do there. And one of the things, for me personally, is I wanted to just kind of get back to nature a little bit. I've always missed it. I work in IT, so I sit behind a desk or behind a computer screen and sit at a desk. And one of the, I guess, benefits of COVID this year is that everyone's really bought onto the working remotely, and they've actually Most people are actually looking to work remote, especially in IT, which you can do. So as long as I can get a good service provider up here, which is another video, I should be able to do that and not have to commute anywhere and actually live here and earn a decent income while we're building the farm and deciding what we want to do from there. One of the things we're not jumping into this without any income or anything like that. We're not necessarily jumping out to try to build it into a farm just yet. The main thing we want to build gardens for at this point is for food, so that we can food and preserve food for future to make sure that we have enough for ourselves, but also that we want to grow in abundance so that we can give to other people in the area, build relationships, and then also maybe in the future use that as a business model. But that is not our primary goal.
First goal is definitely not profitability. It's more about taking care of ourselves and learning the skills to be able to do that. Because it's definitely, gardening is definitely an experiment. It's something that you learn and try new things every single year, and you get a little bit better at something, and then there's always something that you fail terribly at. So it gives you a chance to do better the next year. So we have big plans and big goals for this year and all the years after that, but especially this one will be our biggest growth, and we just want to take you along and show you all that. So
I think our goals for this year can be best described as aim for the stars, maybe we'll hit the moon. We have a large area. I think we have two 40 by 50 foot beds that we're going to try to plant in this year. First year, that's crazy. But we also don't have any expectations about how well it's going to do. So we've got deer in the area, we've got rabbits, all kinds of other predators we're going to be dealing with. So you'll kind of go along with us on that journey. There's coyotes in the area too, which don't necessarily, I'm not too worried about that for crops, but if we get chickens or goats or any kind of livestock, that's going to be a concern. So we're going to have to deal with that. Some of the other things we got to deal with is rainfall and where water runs off of this land. I've been observing it for 3 months and trying to watch how everything goes, and so we're going to continue to do that throughout the year and adjust as we need to.
Just to get to know the land and hear over and over the advice. The first year that you're on your homestead, you really should just observe and see what each season brings you. We're mostly doing that, but with an eye to the future and to go ahead and start setting up some infrastructure as far as things that are really important to us. Garden and house is what we're focusing on right now, because once the house is done, we can be here full time, and that'll just make the garden even better.
Right.
So.
And some brush clearing.
Yes.
Brush clearing is, there's a lot of grown up brush around here, and so we want to clear some of that out too. That's my enjoyable task, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, I went out with him 2 weeks ago to clear brush, and I'm still dealing with poison ivy. So
yeah, poison ivy doesn't bother me at all, but it does bother her.
He's in charge of that now. So
yeah, it's not a problem. So with all that being said, I think hopefully that's a pretty good introduction. Hopefully it tells you a little bit more about where we've come from and why we're here and what we plan to do with this property, and also a little bit more about ourselves. There's a whole lot more for us to tell you, but we wanted to kind of keep this introduction short. But we really love the community that we found in homesteading. We've been watching videos and following this
all we do every night.
The side for a long time. And maybe one day we'll talk about the other channels that we do favorite. But again, we just want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this. Again, if you have any questions, please post them below, and we'll do our best to answer them.
All right. Yeah. Sounds good to me.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye. All right. All right, boys and girls and children of all ages. Although this video is not specifically for children, YouTube. We just put our silage tarp out, so as you can see, we just found a bunch of rocks in the woods, so we'll see if that holds. But pretty excited about it. It's 110 feet by 40. So we got 2 beds blocked off here. So we're doing 40 by 50 foot beds. But pretty excited. So we'll see how all this works out. Hopefully it stays and the wind doesn't blow it over. Luckily these trees over here are actually pretty good wind breaks. The wind mostly comes from that side and blows around this corner if anything. So we put the heavier rocks right here. But I'm gonna go get my 0 turn and then go in. Catch you later. Bye.